The Sports Scouting Report with Lee Burkeen. Brought to you by Medine's Collision Center in Baton Rouge. Take control, choose Medine's. Grosse Savant Lodge, south of Lake Charles, the true sportsman's paradise. Treads and Care Company in Central, the tires you need, the service you want. Harvey Auto in Shreveport, Bossier City, the name you have trusted for years. And Gage in Baton Rouge. Get better connected with Gage. Here's your host, Lee Burkeen.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lee Burkeen, host of the Sports Scouting Report podcast. I got to remember to say podcast. We got a great show today. John Brady, former LSU head basketball coach, currently color for LSU basketball, post-game as well. Really, really glad we have him today. We're going to talk LSU basketball, and we're going to let Coach educate some people on basketball. It's football season, but basketball season has started, by the way. We're going to go over the basketball program. We've got a new head basketball coach. We're going to let Coach Brady talk about that. We're going to talk about the team. We're going to talk about the schedule, the top 25. We're going to talk about some stories that Coach might want to share with us. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff. We'll be right back.
Listen, whatever you're driving right now, Tommy Harvey wants it. Bring it in to Harvey Subaru, Lexus of Shreveport, Bossier City, or John Harvey Toyota. They're paying big bucks for all trades right now. They'll cut you a check right there. Tell them Lee sent you. If you need a paint job or repairs to your vehicle, go see Medine's Collision Center located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana on Kincaid Avenue. The number to call is 357-7983. That's 357-7983. Your Baton Rouge Accident Advisors.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Lee Burkeen of the Sports Scouting Report podcast. John Brady, Coach John Brady joins us, former LSU head basketball coach, current color analyst for LSU basketball, post-game as well. Does an incredible job. Went to college in Jackson, Mississippi at Belhaven. Coached at Crowley High School once upon a time. Took the LSU Tigers to the Final Four. Won 2 SEC championships at LSU. Was at LSU, did a phenomenal job, and we got a lot to talk about. John, thank you for making the trip from New Orleans.
I drove up this morning and
to be a part of it.
Well, I appreciate being here. You've been doing this how long?
Since '91, Coach. This show, but
and this
3
is the
years.
first time you've ever had me on. What was the problem?
I've been trying. I couldn't find you.
Yeah, that's what it was.
I couldn't find you. So Ricky Blanton, I wasn't close enough. He didn't call me back. I was trying to get you. And then I think Gordy Rush didn't give me your number. And then maybe Dale Brown didn't give me your number. I said I went to a game 2 weeks ago, LSU football game, and I'm walking around the suites, which I don't get to go to every game. And I see Coach Brady, and then we said, hey, want to go on the show? And you went,
sure.
Let's do it.
I'm retired now. Let me check my schedule.
We got you, man.
I'm in.
We got you. John, Macomb, Mississippi native.
Yes, sir.
Found your way to Crowley High School in the beginning after you were a Mississippi State grad assistant.
Yeah.
Richard Williams. I know you coached with Richard. And
absolutely. One of my dear friends. And I was when I was a grad assistant at Mississippi State, I was a graduate assistant for Kermit Davis Sr.
Man.
And I got to know Kermit Davis Jr. when he was in high school, and also the other grad assistant at Mississippi State at that time was Joe Dean Jr.
God.
Joe Dean Jr. and I became best friends. I used to come home with Joe on the weekends. That's when his dad was running Converse, and I got to be close to that family. And
man.
Mr. Dean's been on my resume since then, helped me get the Crowley job.
Wow.
24 years later, he hires me as a head basketball coach at LSU.
Coached at UNO, Sanford, LSU 97 to 2008. And Coach, when you inherited the program, it was tough, coming off probation, and you had a lot to overcome in the beginning.
Well, one of the reasons I got the job was because the rumors were flying around that LSU was going to go on some type of probation.
Yeah.
Had, just the facts are 4 straight losing seasons, and when we took it over, they put us on 3 years probation when we got the job. Took 9 scholarships away from us, 3 scholarships a year. Instead of having 12 official visits, we only had 6 for 3 years. We had some difficult limitations, but the thing that happened is we were able to sign Stromile Swift top 5 player in the country, Parade All-American.
Fair Park.
Fair Park High School, came to Baton Rouge, and he started getting Louisiana players to look at us. And then 3 years later, on probation with 9 scholarship players, we won the SEC and went to the Sweet 16.
No, I don't do a script. Me and Coach were going before the game. I just want to make sure I mention everything. But off script, one thing I remember, Coach, was that Wisconsin game.
Why you remember that one?
Oh,
They beat us up.
No, I don't mean to bring it up. But the NCAA tournament.
I thought you were supposed to remember the good stuff.
I remember the good stuff too, but that's when I remember like Swift. Come on. That just wasn't that. It wasn't in the cards that day.
Well, at one time, I thought during that season we were the best team in the country because we went through the SEC. We were beating people 19-20. We biggest defeat Alabama's ever had in Coleman Coliseum. Biggest defeat Ole Miss has had.
28 games.
And we were really good. And we beat Texas to go to the Sweet 16, and in Wisconsin, they just defended us real well. They were a little tougher than us that day, and
sorry about that.
Kind of shut us down. Sorry about that. I try to forget those kind of games.
Stromal was a heck of a player.
Albuquerque.
6'9", 10.
Yeah, great guy, tremendous athlete. Had a 10-year pro career, and if you ever go back on YouTube, look up some of Stromal Swift's dunks in the NBA. They rival Dominique Wilkins.
I remember going to Fair Park, Coach, for football, and Coach Prude came out, who was a football coach, Lent Bursey, and a couple other guys, and I saw this big tall kid hanging out with his little school bag on. I said, "You're not a football player."
Yeah,
he said, "I'm Stromal Swift." He was a freshman.
Yeah.
And I said, "You playing football?" He said, "I'm thinking about it." I said, No. You're already 6'8". I said, You
mentioned Ken Prude. Ken Prude was influential a little bit in that recruiting process.
Was he?
Yeah, he and Stromal were really close.
Wow.
And he helped us out a little bit.
Ronnie
I always
Prude's,
appreciate that.
Ronnie Prude's uncle, Ronnie Prude played at LSU in football.
Yeah, that's right. He sure did.
Mo Claiborne's old high school. We're going to take a break. Morris Claiborne, who I went up and watched at the Independence Bowl before he went to LSU. We'll be right back with Coach John Brady. You're watching Sports Scouting Report. I'm Lee Burkeen, your host. We'll be right back.
What does that bug man do?
Not only do we do pest control, we do odor control, bat removal, moisture control, rodents, and of course, bed bug control. Give the bug man a call. We get them before they get you.
Gros Savon Lodge, the true sportsman's paradise. Gros Savon Lodge has fresh and saltwater fishing, alligator hunting, waterfowl hunting, and eco tours located south of Lake Charles, Louisiana. Give them a call at 337-598-2357. That number to call again is 337-598-2357, and have the time of your life.
Welcome back. Lee Burkeen, your host of Sports Scouting Report podcast. We have Coach John Brady with us, current color analyst for LSU basketball and post-game. Coach has become my most, favorite post-game guy. Coach, I was never a post-game guy. I was never the guy that turned the radio on after the game, unless it was stats maybe. But truly enjoy the job you're doing with talking basketball, explaining the game.
Well, I appreciate that. It's nothing. I go about 2 hours before every game and prepare, and a lot of coaches I know, and I know what their style is, and also Chris Blair is wonderful to work with. I mean, he's really good, and he and I get along well. We've become really good friends, and the chemistry we have, I think, is good because of that. And I really enjoy it. All I try to do is explain, because I go to practice and I go in some of the coaches' meetings, and all I try to do is explain what the team is trying to do in a term where the normal fan can understand it and identify with it. And it's been fun. It's been really nice being back and doing that.
Well, Coach, in layman terms, I don't care what country you're from, where you're from, they're getting it. You talk basketball, and I love it. I love when you. They think I'm a football guy only. I grew up liking basketball. I grew up playing. I was just 5'8". Everybody in the subdivision was 6'2".
And couldn't jump and wasn't very quick, so he had problems.
I could shoot if I shot 1,000 times practicing, but I was a tough little guy. They'd say they'd pick last, and they'd go, "How about him?" When you pick 5-on-5. I was the last guy picked.
Well, I think toughness is part of the talent and equation when you evaluate players. The toughness, to me, is part of the talent quotient. So toughness is a good place to start.
That's right. If you have some talent with it.
Yeah, talent and toughness is a Stromal Swift.
Speaking of LSU, new LSU basketball coach. You've had a chance to go to practice and look at the team, obviously. First, I want to talk about the new coach, Matt McMahon, who's here. He's new. Season starts when this show airs. It starts today. Their first opponent. What do you think of Coach Matt?
I like what he's done. First of all, he's a good guy. He's a good family guy. Been really kind to me, really personal with me, and I appreciate that. You know, he could, if he didn't want me to do the radio, he could stop it, and so I appreciate him allowing me to do it again. Even I did it the first 4 years with Will, but it's been fun, and I think there'll be a little more structure offensively with freedom. And then I think defensively, this is something he really takes a lot of pride in the practices that I've seen. And defending and rebounding is a priority. And then, you know, Will allowed players to play with a lot of freedom because they were very talented players. I think this year, I don't think they're quite as talented as Will's teams have been. But I think that's why I think they're going to have more structure with freedom within the offense. And it's going to be interesting to see how this team progresses. I think during the course of the year they're going to improve. 10 new guys, only 3 guys back. The roster has been an overhaul, and you've got to compliment Coach McMahon and his staff for what they've been able to do in a short period of time.
Coach, he was a pretty good player at Appalachian State, I hear. Took the Murray State, which has no budget hardly. Took them to the NCAA tournament 4 times. COVID year would have been 5.
Right.
So
Murray State has had tradition though, from Mark Gottfried and a lot of coaches have been through there that have done really well, and you know, he's added to that. And you know, he had a guy named Jay Moran, but every really good coach has always had a really good player or two. You know, I benefited from that. You know, Matt benefited from that at Murray State, and it's helped him get this job here.
Let me mention this. They don't have a budget in football. It's all basketball and baseball. Speaking of the roster, Coach, not many guys came back. He did convince Amani Wilkerson to come back from Vegas, who's originally from Louisiana. Justice Williams, the Philadelphia kid, sophomore, he came back.
Right.
You know, just not many back, but he did convince Adam Miller. Sat out, didn't play last year. You're high on Adam Miller.
Adam Miller is, you know, Will got him here. Coach Wade got him here, and he can score it from the perimeter. And if there's something in the LSU team right now that I haven't seen, that I saw in some of Will's teams, was multiple players can make a 3 consistently. This team, what I've seen, I hope they can develop that, but Miller's certainly going to be one of their main players offensively because he can make it consistently behind the arc. And in today's game, you need a couple of guys that can shoot a 3.
We're going to take a break. We have more of Coach Brady. See, Coach gets in that coaching form, man. He starts talking. That's why I love it, man. I love it. We'll be back. We'll talk more LSU basketball, a little more about the team. We're going to talk about the preseason top 25. I want to get Coach Brady's opinion. We're both shocked North Carolina's number 1. They lost just about everything, and they didn't recruit the top 5 recruits like Kentucky back or Kansas. We'll be right back.
Listen, whatever you're driving right now, Tommy Harvey wants it. Bring it in to Harvey Subaru, Lexus of Shreveport, Bossier City, or John Harvey Toyota. They're paying big bucks for all trades right now. They'll cut you a check right there. Tell them Lee sent you. If you need a paint job or repairs to your vehicle, go see Medine's Collision Center located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana on Kincaid Avenue. The number to call is 357-7983. That's 357-7983. Your Baton Rouge Accident Advisors.
Welcome back. Lee Burkeen, the host of the Sports Scouting Report podcast. John Brady. Coach Brady's our guest, former LSU head coach, current color analyst for LSU basketball. They have a game tonight. You'll see the show actually the day before and the day of the first game. We're going to talk about the schedule in a minute, but I want to show the menu for DiGiulio Brothers Italian Restaurant. If you like Italian food, you like homemade food, you like the atmosphere, I like a quaint, small place that's it's just got character to it, like Coach would probably say with his team or whatever he was coaching. But, hey, homemade Italian food, homemade pizza. I get the chicken parmesan. I get everything on this menu. Mike has seen me order everything, but they're open at 11 o'clock during the week. They have brunch on Sunday. They open on brunch for 10:30 in the morning if you're leaving LSU games and you're going back to Shreveport or Monroe or Lafayette, but be sure to go to DeJulia Brothers. Where's it at? Close to Acadian, right by LSU, on Perkins Road, DeJulia Brothers Italian Restaurant. Appreciate their support.
That place is a fixture in Baton Rouge.
Unbelievable, huh, Coach? I think we'll have some
Been
bread
coming
in a
here
minute.
for 25 years.
We'll have some bread in a minute. And then this is a book I want to promote for my buddy. John knows him. Oscar
Absolutely.
Schoenfeld, called Sports Agent. Since it's a basketball show, it's a basketball book. Up the Mountain and Down. It's about the life of a sports agent, which Coach Brady knows all those guys.
Tough
And Oscar's
business.
a good guy.
Yeah, he's a great guy. That's tough business.
Tough
That's
business.
tough business.
Trying to sign those
Competitive.
players.
Oh yeah, it's tough.
Uh,
That'd probably be a good read there. I need to check that book out.
Yeah. Oscar needs to get you a copy when he gets back from Charlotte or wherever he's at in North Carolina. The team, we talked about the team, Coach. I follow a little basketball recruiting. Tyrell Ward was signed out of DeMatha. You know, DeMatha's a big-time program.
Yeah, I think that young man can develop into a consistent three-point shooter. He made some baskets the other day at the practice, and when he adapts to the speed of the game and the physicalness of the game, I think he'll be somebody behind the arc that can be a consistent shooter for him and help Adam Miller.
How do you like Kendall Coleman, who came from Northwestern State, 6'8"?
I think he's going to be a role player for them. I think he'll give them some depth around the goal, come off the bench and give quality minutes. The two big guys are Reed, the freshman coming in that had signed with Florida, the coaching change, they got him to come here.
KJ, huh?
He's from and KJ. And KJ came with from Murray State. He's 6'9". He's preseason second team All SEC. Hadn't bounced the ball in the league yet, so his reputation is out there. But as you and I were talking off the air, I think with the number of transfers in college basketball now, LSU's got 10. Every other school in the league has 7 or more. It's going to be hard to tell who's really good in preseason because you've never seen those guys play together.
Yeah, and then finally with the roster, we're not going to go long on the roster because all these guys are new. Coach is going to be tonight. We're going to see them shoot their first bucket in a game with fans. It's different with fans.
It is different. It is different.
The guards, Trey Hannibal came with Coach. Cam Hayes, they got from North Carolina State.
Yes.
Justice Hill, what do you think of the guards? And then Justice Williams.
Well, I think the two guards that he brought in from Murray are going to be really good for him. He's comfortable with them. I think the young man from NC State's going to have an opportunity to play. He's very quick, very talented. And that's why I'm saying I think it's going to be fun to watch this team develop. They've only had a short time together, and I think they're going to get better and improve as the year goes along.
And obviously Adam Miller at two guard, who's going to be
Well, he's
safe.
a key. I think in terms of if he's not the leading scorer, he'll be the second leading scorer this year for this team to function as it needs to function. Adam's got to have a big role offensively especially.
And look, kudos for Parker Edwards coming back, walk on, like year 10. Kudos to him.
He is a student body favorite.
Student body favorite. And I remember the one game, Coach, you remember because you were doing color by then.
Yeah.
He scored 20 on LSU at Southeastern
In the second half.
in like 5 minutes?
Yeah. He
That's
had
his
like,
fame,
30 the game in 20 or 22 in the last 10
They
minutes.
put his roster up in Hammond, because of that. I mean, his jersey. But we're going to take a break. We come back, we have more John Brady. We're going to talk about the schedule. And we're going to talk about the first game. We're going to talk about the preseason schedule. And then the SEC's got 4 teams in the preseason top 25. We'll talk about that too. We'll be right back.
What does that bug man do?
Not only do we do pest control, we do odor control, bat removal, moisture control, rodents, and of course, bed bug control. Give the bug man a call. We get them before they get you.
Gros Savon Lodge, the true sportsman's paradise. Gros Savon Lodge has fresh and saltwater fishing, alligator hunting, waterfowl hunting, and eco tours located south of Lake Charles, Louisiana. Give them a call at 337-598-2357. That number to call again is 337-598-2357, and have the time of your life.
Welcome back, Lee Burkeen. We're at DeJulia Brothers Italian Restaurant on Perkins Road doing our show. Our guest is John Brady. Man, I'm so glad John's here. Check this bread out. I don't know who likes garlic bread. I do. I love garlic bread when I'm not even hungry. But
Maybe your wife or girlfriend doesn't like it as much.
Probably not.
After you eat
You need a quadruple pack of gum. But you know what I mean?
Other than that, it's
Remember the
dynamite.
Starbucks commercials in the 70s, Have a
Just poof.
whatever. But what you think, Coach?
It's a killer. I've had it several times.
Especially 9 in the morning when we film.
Yeah, that is a little different. I haven't had it at 9 in the morning.
A little
before.
different, but hey, it's good. Better than a beignet, man, right now.
That's right.
Coach, the schedule, Kansas City, honestly, never heard of, following basketball, but Kansas City University.
Missouri, Kansas City. Yeah.
Missouri, Kansas City.
Yeah. You know, I think that the schedule is structured for the team to play some games that if they play well, they can win. And I think with a first-year coach with 10 new players, only 3 returning, only 2 of those 3 played. Miller had to sit out. I think it's good the way the schedule is built up so they can play some games, make some mistakes, also win the game.
Yeah.
And then they sprinkle in some good games, a couple of good games in the Cayman Islands, and they play Wake Forest in Atlanta. Other than that, there's some games on that schedule I think they can win and grow at the same time.
I think the schedule is great. Like you said, you don't want to start with UNC, Duke, and Kansas, this new team. And then, look, you're old school. Arkansas State's the second game, Saturday.
It's a 5 o'clock game.
5 o'clock game. Yeah. Wow.
Because the Arkansas football game, I think, will be over at that time. And everybody can come to the game early and still go out to dinner.
And then Thursday, the following week, UNO, where you coached.
Yeah, Coach, I was assistant at UNO with Tim Floyd, my good buddy Tim Floyd.
Wow. And then the Caymans, like Coach said, Illinois State, Georgetown. There's no Patrick Ewings there. There's no Alonzo Mournings, but, hey, they're still Georgetown.
They'll have good players.
Good players.
I think that's a great time to play some better teams in the Cayman Islands, on neutral floor.
Western Kentucky's pretty good.
Yeah, they're going to be good. Rick Stansberry, the old Mississippi State coach, is coaching there. Yeah.
Then Wofford, not bad program, UT Arlington. Wake Forest, like Coach said, that's December the 10th. North Carolina Central, December 13th. Those are Wake Forest is in Atlanta, State Farm Arena. Winthrop, don't know much about them, Coach. That'll be a home game. East Tennessee State, December 21st. And then it gets into...
Well, we start off the first 6 games in the SEC for LSU are very challenging. So I think that's why those preseason games, for them to learn and grow and get confidence in winning, we start off with some tough ones. We got Kentucky. We're on the road at Kentucky early on.
Arkansas, Kentucky, A&M, Florida, Alabama, Auburn, Tennessee, Arkansas.
To start off.
Cool. Coach, that's a lot of preparing for you too.
Welcome, Coach.
Welcome, Coach. Welcome, Coach. There's a lot of questions I want to ask Coach, and I'm going to try and get them all in. Let me find my notebook, my cheat sheet here. But former players, and I wanted to see if you could share a story before we go to break, Coach. I remember back in the day going to games as a fan. Tyrus Thomas was at McKinley. I remember he was tall and skinny, but he was 6'7". You sign him, and he grows.
He's one of my favorite players that I ever coached. He was 6'7", about, 175 in high school. Had come to our camp. We signed him, redshirted him. He went from 6'7" to 6'9". He went from about 175 to about 210. The first 7 games of his redshirt freshman year, the final 4 year, he didn't start. We started Darnell Lazar, who I also have a lot of respect for, from Woodlawn. Played for my friend Kenny Allman. We put him in the starting lineup. He blows up, and he's a 4th pick in the NBA draft. I don't know if there's any player in America that's ever had that skyrocket happen to him in a short period of time. But Tyrus was really a huge part of our Final Four team.
Kenny Allman, keep coaching, man. Don't retire. Every time I see you, you retire.
Somebody asked me.
Keep coaching.
When we signed Darnell Lazar, somebody asked me, says, how is Darnell Lazar going to handle you? I said, he played for Kenny Allman. I'll be a walk in the park.
He's good. He's good. He had some great ones. Sharon Mack, Gransberry, a lot of guys.
Oh, yeah.
He had a bunch go through Woodlawn, East Ascension. Kenny, I don't even know where you are now. I know you coach it somewhere. He's a legend, as you know. We're going to take a break. We'll come back, talk about some former greats. I'm going to ask Coach if he could name some guys that he remembered about LSU before he became the coach. We'll be right back.
Listen, whatever you're driving right now, Tommy Harvey wants it. Bring it in to Harvey Subaru, Lexus of Shreveport, Bossier City, or John Harvey Toyota. They're paying big bucks for all trades right now. They'll cut you a check right there. Tell them Lee sent you. If you need a paint job or repairs to your vehicle, go see Madine's Collision Center located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana on Kincaid Avenue. The number to call is 357 7983. That's 357-7983. Your Baton Rouge Accident Advisors.
Welcome back, Lee Burkeen with the Sports Scouting Report podcast. We got Coach John Brady with us, current color analyst with LSU basketball. During the game, after the game, to almost midnight, depending on when the game's played. You can hear John and Chris Blair talk for a long time. They go through they show you who made a free throw, who made a three, who didn't hit a three. I want to show a picture, and they'll put this picture in when the show's shown, but the largest human being I've ever seen in football was Herman Johnson way back at LSU. He was 6'7", 330, 350, coach, from Denton, Texas. He was born 13 pounds or something like that, largest baby. Right. But the largest football player I've ever seen in person in high school is this guy, Caden Jones from De La Salle in New Orleans. Now, if the viewers see this picture, he's 6 foot, almost 6'9", 320. He looks about, I'll show Coach a picture. Looks like he's 220, doesn't he?
Yeah, yes. But the largest high school football player I ever saw was Glenn Davis at 6'7.5", 370 pounds, 365 pounds.
You had a little recruiting struggle at one point, huh? Football?
Yeah, Coach Saban was going to try to sneak him out of there.
Sneak him out?
And that's the only time I stiff arms.
Was he trying to get him?
Oh, yeah.
What was he going to make him, a DN?
He was going to make him an offensive lineman on the backside because he had quick feet to protect the quarterback from his backside or something like that.
Coach, I accidentally went to a U-High freshman game. When I say accidentally, I don't go to freshman games, and somebody or something. And they said, there's this 6'7" running back playing. I said, whatever. So I went, and there's 6'7" Glenn Davis at 290 running the ball in a one-back set.
He's unbelievable. You know, he at U-High is like 360. I think we got him down to a cool 315 when he played for us. And then I think the Celtics got him down to about 295, which he could. But he had the best feet and the best hands for a guy that size I've ever coached.
I got to mention this because I know even Cody and Squeaky probably won't ask you this from City Cafe. Jabari Smith, you coached the dad.
Coached, yeah, Jabari, who played for Auburn. I coached his father here at
Final Four.
Yeah. He was he was on the 2000 team with Strohmeyer.
Yeah.
And when we did the Auburn game this year, Jabari was there, and he came down and brought his son out of the locker room to meet me when I was doing the radio last year with Chris. It was great.
Man, I wish LSU would have signed the son, but you know how that goes. He's from Georgia.
Yeah, you know, and Dad lives in Atlanta, and he could see him play, and he wasn't going to play but 1 year anyway. So, you know, LSU gave it a whirl, though.
Speaking of that, preseason 25, Coach.
All right.
Alabama's 20th, Auburn's 15th. This is from USA Today. Tennessee's 11, Arkansas 10. They had a great class. Mm-hmm. Kentucky, blue blood 4. No Florida. Obviously, LSU's got to show and prove it. But what do you think of this group? There's 5 of them. I said 4 earlier.
Well, the 2 I like, you know, I always like Kentucky because you know, some people aren't fans of Calipari, but I think he can really coach, and I think he can get talented players to play together. And then Rick Barnes, I also have a lot of respect for him, so I think Tennessee's going to be really good. And I think those 2 guys are above those other teams. Arkansas's got a lot of new players. They got beat pretty good in an exhibition game, so it's going to take them a while to get together. But, you know, I think those 4 or 5 teams are going to be really good, but my favorite, even over Kentucky, is Tennessee.
What I enjoy is watching Alabama coach stare down any coach he plays. It's like Wimp Sanderson, remember?
Oh, I know Wimp very well.
You don't know if Wimp was mad or not. Is that
He's
just
always
me?
mad.
Was that just me?
Wimp wanted to be mad. Yeah. Wimp was here last year with the Alabama team, and Dale and I and Wimp were taking a picture together, and Dale says, "Wimp, smile." Wimp says, "I don't want to smile."
You're retired. Who did the towel? The Houston coach, the old Houston
Tarkanian.
coach?
Oh,
UNLV.
UNLV, yeah, Tarkanian.
He always had that. He always chewed on the towel.
That's right. Yeah.
Just characters, huh, Coach?
Some of those guys are gone now. A lot of young coaches today they have the image, you know,
suits.
And they're not out of control. You know, back in the day, you had some personalities back in the day, and I used to enjoy those type of guys.
Who's your favorite LSU player before you became the coach? You said you were at Crowley in the 70s, early 80s, but
well, a couple of guys. You know, I really like Ethan Martin. I thought he was a key to Dale's team in that stretch with Rudy and those guys. I thought Ethan Martin was a stabilizing point guard and may be the best point guard LSU's ever had.
Lee High School, great high school, and he was only 5'9", if that. But he was
He
unbelievable.
could control the game, and with no shot clock, they'd spread the floor, and with a 10-point lead with about 5 to go, almost over with Ethan running the show.
Coach some of these greats, Tyrus Thomas, Garrett Temple, unbelievable. When
Still in the
you
league.
signed him, Coach, did you think back then, hey, he's going to play 14 years in the NBA?
I wouldn't say 14 years, but one thing about Garrett Temple, the character and the talent together makes him marketable in that NBA. They love him in the locker room. I was able to play golf with the new Pelicans coach, and he talked about Garrett like that. He wants him on the team because he's not only accepts his role, he's good in that locker room as a veteran.
Boy, he shut down Reddick for you, JJ, for Duke.
Oh.
That was a special game.
Well,
Get you the Final
yes, the
Four.
toughness that Garrett Temple brings, and you know that team together. All those guys knew their role and they played well together. And 4 from Baton Rouge, 1 from St. Martinville, 1 from Denham Springs. They all kind of grew up around each other, and the chemistry on that team was just incredible.
Tasman Mitchell, Denham Springs, still a coach at LSU, and Derek Mitchell,
Daryl
St.
Mitchell from St. Martinville.
and his uncle was one of my favorite players, Coach Leonard Mitchell.
Was that his uncle? No.
I think it was. Yeah.
I don't
Cousins
know
or uncle? They're
maybe
family.
cousins. I don't know if it's his
St.
uncle.
Martinville,
but yeah,
too.
they played St. Martinville. Yeah.
And then Derek Taylor was one of my favorites. Obviously, Chris Jackson, Bob Pettit, Pistol Pete, Shaq. But I liked Rudy Macklin and also Ethan Martin. Like you said, Ethan was unbelievable.
Yeah, but Chris Jackson, Pete Maravich, you know, those 2 guys were probably Shaq, obviously, and Bob Pettit before our time. But Chris Jackson's probably one of the most electrifying, exciting college players to ever play.
We're ending the show, but I want to mention that not only is John in the sports, but his daughter, L.A. Lakers cheerleader. You had a chance to see your kids do really well with sports.
Yeah, well, they were dancers, and both of them did really well as dancers. My oldest was a Golden Girl here, and then she was a sensation for a while, and then my youngest was a Laker girl, and then she also traveled all over the world with Katy Perry as a dancer for her world tour. So they've both done really well, and you know, proud of both of them actually.
Coach, thank you for taking the time all the way from New Orleans, the day before your first game. Appreciate you being here,
Lee,
man.
thank you, Mel.
Thank you, John.
Appreciate all your success, man. Good
Yeah,
for
man.
you.
Thanks for John Brady joining us. Check out the game tonight. Again, it's tell them who the opponent is, Coach.
Missouri, Kansas City.
Missouri, Kansas City. It's been a while. I don't know if they've ever played before. I need to get a media guy from Michael Barnett, but I don't remember them
I don't
playing.
think so.
I don't
This
think
may be
so.
the first
It's
meeting.
probably the first meeting. I know Kansas City, the city. Never heard of the basketball program, but check us out. Go to YouTube. Go to Podbean. Go to wherever you get your podcasts. Go to our website, lafootballmagazine.com. Still got our preview magazine for the state for football. And also go to Twitter. It's everywhere. Be sure to like us on YouTube as well and subscribe for free so you get all the updates on all the shows. We do 3 a week. Friday's show is former Tiger Tracy Porter from the early 70s, late 80s, was a receiver from Southern Lab High School, lives in San Francisco, Coach. He's going to call in. Tracy Porter, all SEC and all SEC academic while he was at LSU. We'll talk to Tracy Porter. We'll see you on Friday.
Thanks for listening to the Sports Scouting Report podcast with Lee Burkeen.